Hi all, I am Monami, and today we will have a candid discussion about exciting topics like 5G and Internet of Things and how these are going to change the world and how they are going to make our lives better. I will be discussing on these topics with Karthik and Ajay, and we are all the part of network and product engineering team at Telstra India. The panel has extensive experience in this space and lived through the evolution of generations of mobile technologies. So welcome Ajay and Karthik and our listeners.
Thanks, Manami.
Thank you, Manami.
Welcome. Okay, so my first question is to Karthik. Let me come straight to the topic. So there is so much buzz nowadays about 5G, Karthik. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear this term 5G?
Manami, the first thing which comes to my mind is Ready Player One movie. Billions of connected devices and people, driverless cars moving around, super high data rates. Like I said, scenes from all the sci-fi movies coming to reality. Lots of people wearing smart wearable gadgets with AR and VR enabled and traversing with their digital avatars inside various metaverses.
Excellent, Karthik. The way you narrated the glimpse of 5G in full swing is in one line is commendable. And I really echo your thoughts about the sci-fi movie becoming reality with 5G. So we will definitely discuss more on this. But for now, for the sake of our audience, let's try to understand what stops us from doing these at current times. So Ajay, can you please explain why these were not possible in 4G and other legacy technologies?
Manami, we all know like now the way data and connections are increasing on the internet, on the network. The 4G has looked like reached to the limit, like now in terms of data transfer, it can support number of connections, and definitely some of the application needs the low latency, like so that is not possible right now to support through 4G. Like we need a
Correct.
now next version, like so looks like 5G is coming up, which will overcome these limitations and take us to the next. But yeah, it will come with all challenges.
Yeah.
Karthik, what kind of challenges you see it like?
Yeah, Ajay, from what I can see, now the trend is that every sector wants to leverage 5G, as there are tremendous opportunities with 5G, right? But however, the obstacles in adoption can be analogous to challenges between mature markets versus emerging markets. In emerging markets, the first big obstacle is investment itself. It also raises questions about the existing network setup, right? Whether to discontinue them or upgrade them, or even run parallel setups if you have the bandwidth and the money and the effort to do that. Yeah, the answer is never that simple, But the investment that we make today to adopt 5G, in fact, opens up possible future improvements for OPEX reductions as well, and it opens more doors for data-driven approaches, intelligent use cases, leveraging data, and also cloud, right? Essentially, even though 5G looks like a huge OPEX burden right now, in fact, it would act as an enabler to for huge savings much later.
Yeah, true, Karthik. Uh, So, so there is cost factor. There could be another hindrance also. Like so, Munami, what kind of hindrance you see it?
Yeah, sure, Ajay. So, as rightfully said by Karthik, I think cost is one of the biggest challenge because the infrastructure is very expensive. But then there are other challenges uh, as well. So let me give you an example. So we will not be staying in a only 5G world, right? So we will have the legacy technologies as well. So in this scenario, the use cases would be like the non 5G devices connecting to the 5G devices, right? And as such, the languages are different, the platforms are different. So it has to be an end to end holistic solution that can work seamlessly and not just a connectivity stack, right? So there are other big questions like where do I start with the 5G implementation? Is another big question, right? Should I deploy the RAN first or should I deploy the core network first? And these are just few. There are n number of other uh, issues which really needs brainstorming.
What I feel is like cloud is going to play big role.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is there any silver lining on cloud, Karthik? What is your thought? Like,
Yeah, Jay, absolutely. Look, I think one thing which we all must acknowledge is that telecom industry has been very slow in adopting the latest tech stack, right? Even cloud native, for example, was um, adopted by telecom industries much later.
Right.
But
Right.
now I think with 5G coming in, we have actually in fact fast tracked the adoption of cloud native, right? And then RAN virtualization, in fact, can be a very very good place to start as it opens the gateway for getting telemetry out from the radio network for all the dynamic network optimizations, etc. Open RAN, which is the latest trend right now in the market, is also going to help to manage the network much better because of its flexibility. With this, I think we would need majority of the network to be cloud native, and that would help us to scale up and down dynamically. APIs are already getting standardized, right? But still, we need better controllers and orchestrators to enable end-to-end automation. And of
Yeah.
course, AI also has a role to play in all this, right? Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to see how all this will work together, especially in 5G and future. But the benefits will be realized over a period of time, right? The economies of scale will come in a little bit later, but definitely uh, there is definitely silver lining on the cloud. Of course, there are other challenges which come along with this implementation and adoption of cloud native, right? Because it brings a challenge of skills gap as well, which we have right now. There are a lot of upskilling and heavy lifting to be done when it comes to skills as well.
Right. Right. I really can't agree more, Kartik. And rightfully, you have pointed out, I think the starting point should be RAN virtualization and more cloud native network functions. And this would be really a good place to uh, kickstart the 5G implementation. Uh, we definitely need to focus on streamlining these issues in order to set up the 5G infrastructure. Again, I think the challenges which are present now, or with rather with new generation of mobile communication, be it 2G, 3G, 4G, or now 5G. So these challenges will always be there, right? So now let's deviate from the challenges just for time being and try to understand the benefits. Kartik, what is the most important use case you can think of 5G?
I think according to me, at least, the most important use cases would be in the industrial IoT sectors. Others will be autonomous vehicles and transportation, precise medical surgeries, and of course, my favorite topic, which is development of more and more metaverses.
Yeah, metaverse. Yeah, indeed, it is the hot topic nowadays, and I personally am very excited about it. So, for our listeners, Kartik, can you throw some more light, or rather, some share some use cases of metaverses?
Absolutely, Manami. There are lots of use cases actually, but some of them which comes to my mind right now, or to begin with, real estate, right? Imagine what you
Hmm.
could do if you can actually enter a property via metaverse, right? You are probably in US or Australia or Canada, and you are actually looking to buy a property in India. You can't probably visit the property physically, but you can, if you actually with metaverse, you can in fact your avatar actually enters the property, examines thoroughly, and probably discusses about the property with other avatars as well, which are roaming around in the metaverse, right? Which helps you make a very informed and educated decision. Travel is another use case, right, which I think will benefit hugely from metaverse. In fact, even during COVID, probably there was a need to innovate on, providing travel via metaverse to people, because people were obviously not able to travel physically. But not all travel needs to be physical, right? I think it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
depends on how immersive
Yeah,
your
I
travel
was
gets.
missing Karthik travel a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think with
We
metaverse,
all
travel
miss.
will become much more immersive. Even if I want to just stand on top of Eiffel Tower, I can go to metaverse and enjoy the view as well, right? Um,
Wow.
yeah, absolutely. And another sector which I think will benefit greatly is education, right? Think about how schools and colleges are trying to adopt to the challenges caused by COVID, right? They all moved to Teams or Zoom and try to conduct classes online,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still not as immersive, right, as being in a class. But with metaverse, the students would actually feel much more part of the class, right? Irrespective of where they're actually situated, they actually feel as if they're in fact in the classroom. So metaverse is going to enable that. Same for
Absolutely.
meetings as well, right? We are all working out of home right now, but we all actually can feel as if we are part of the same meeting room via metaverse. And in fact, some of the other cases such as virtual concerts, which Justin Bieber already conducted, right, in Metaverse recently, and was probably
Yeah.
attended by a huge number of fans, and it was largely appreciated. And shopping, I mean, all of us, we spend so much time on Amazon and Flipkart doing online shopping, but we still feel that there is something lacking, right, compared to the experience of physically visiting a store and adding things to your basket and buying something, right, and trying out as well, trying various apparels. So with metaverse, I think shopping is also going to get a huge lift, and my avatar actually goes inside an actual branded store, picks up a few items, probably tries it out, right? I mean, tries it out, and really you feel good about it, and then you actually buy it. And lastly, I think gaming, I don't think I even need to explain, like told in my beginning, at the beginning, Ready Player One movie, right, about the movie. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
gaming is going to get a huge uplift as well with Metaverse. I mean, the list keeps going, and I can probably start talking. I'll probably be able to talk the whole day, but definitely I'll limit with this due to due to time.
No problem, Karthik. I think it's awesome. All of these, whatever list you have just shared, and it has set our imaginations to fire. And we can't believe that we are all going to witness at least some of these in the upcoming years.
Absolutely.
And I would like to add, yeah, to your use case about the Justin Bieber's virtual concert in Metaverse. So what I heard is around 2 million world people worldwide has attended that concert. So we can clearly understand the rising popularity of metaverses. Uh,
I think I
another,
think peop-
yeah,
I think people are getting crazy nowadays.
yes, yes. I'll add one more, Ajay. Then the heights of the craziness is another quick info about some news floating around the month of Feb. So there is this famous American rapper Snoop Dogg. I hope you are all are aware
Absolutely.
about him. Yeah,
Yep.
and he was yeah, yeah, Karthik. So he was selling a parcel in Snoopverse. So I'm quoting it, Snoopverse, which is the metaverse that he built in the sandbox platform, and where he actually planned to host events and has built a virtual replica of his house there in that metaverse. And the amazing part is, um, someone paid a whopping $450,000 to become Snoop Dogg's neighbor in the metaverse.
Wow, this is crazy.
People are crazy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I would say, like, the difference between the virtual and the reality is diminishing with metaverses. I'm really excited about future. By the way, we have, already started taking baby steps towards 5G adoption here at our Innovation and Capability Center at the Telstra Bangalore. And I think you both should visit and have a look at the 5G ICC lab.
I heard about it, Monami, a lot.
Hmm.
Maybe visit sometime.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes,
visited
please.
already, Manami and Ajay.
Oh,
It's
Good.
Yeah, it is actually state of the art, 8,000 square feet lab, probably more.
yeah,
And it's amazing how we have set up the entire 5G RAN here in a controlled environment. And actually, in fact, the antennas are radiating Telstra Australia 5G frequencies. And all this is actually simulated inside a huge radiation leak-proof chambers, right? And I mean, in fact, this is the first time in India, I believe, that somebody has set up such a facility, right? And all these has been done following the proper guidelines of Department of Telecom and with the proper licensing as well. And
yeah,
the RAN is, of course, backhauled all the way to Australia and connects to all the core network elements with the help of MPLS network. And it seems like we're also going to be getting the end-to-end 5G network as well in the ICC lab. So it's really remarkable what we have achieved.
absolutely, absolutely. And in this way, actually, we are able to simulate the 5G use cases independent of geographic barriers. And I hope we can leverage increasingly from our 5G lab here for future.
Absolutely. I think so. Probably Monami and Ajay, I'll probably deviate a little bit from the tech. We have spoken about technology related aspects to 5G, right? I think one of the core foundations for the 5G to be successful would be actually improvement and focus on better processes and following agile, right? I think we have all been trying to follow agile in some form or the other, especially in telecom industries, but maybe not as effectively.
Absolutely, Karthik. And if you mean adopting the best practices, then I must say again that we are already in it, especially at Testra.
Agree,
Okay.
Monami. Like agile at scale, way of working is we are also not leaving any stone unturned. So ensuring like we are also in a league of game changers. We have to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah,
seen teams transitioning from the traditional waterfall delivery model to agile at scale, right? In agile at scale, teams work differently from the chain of command bureaucracies, which were very prevalent in the waterfall model. They're largely self-governing teams, and the senior
hmm,
leaders tell team members way to innovate, but not how, right? And the teams
right.
work closely with the product owners and customers, both external and internal. Ideally, this puts the responsibility for innovation in the hands of people who are closest to the customers, right? And it reduces layers of control and approval, which used to actually slow the innovation and also demotivate people, right?
True, true.
So Agile at scale speeds up the work and increases the team's motivation as well. And more importantly, it also frees up senior leaders to what they actually can do best, which is basically create and communicate long-term vision, set and sequence the strategic priorities, and build the organizational capabilities to achieve these goals.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, in fact, Karthik, I compare this agile at scale with the revolutionary idea of decoupling the control plane and the user plane messages from communications channel. So we have done this with
Yeah,
4G, and this is a similar, leap in terms of adopting best practices. And this has created organizational agility and a culture of high performing cross functional agile teams. And post implementation, the agile teams have resulted in higher team productivity and morale, as well as faster time to market, I think better quality, and obviously lower risk than the traditional approaches could have achieved.
that's incredible, Monami. I think slowly all agile teams would eventually adopt this agile at scale model, right?
Right, right.
And Karthik, not only we, like all pioneer like Spotify, Netflix, Amazon, all are doing this.
Right, right. Yeah, excellent. So let me actually divert a little bit more now, and maybe let's go into IoT, right? So Ajay, what do you think is the problem that IoT is, I mean, IoT along with 5G is helping solve differently than 4G?
Yeah. So Karthik, we all know like 5G is coming up with some characteristics like low latency, supporting large number of connections, supporting high bandwidth. I think this will open up large number of IoT use case which was not possible earlier, like driving license, self-driving cars, robotics, healthcare, smart factories. Some of these use cases were not possible earlier.
And Ajay, I'm also hearing a lot about energy efficiency uh, in 5G IoT devices. So if you can throw some more light on this, that would be very useful for our audience.
Yeah, Monami, 5G is introducing energy efficiency. So that is good for IoT uh, use cases. Specifically, a couple of use cases need battery efficiency because they have to work longer to increase their life cycle. Like we need energy efficient IoT devices. So due to 5G, I think now it will be possible because 5G is bringing a lot of energy efficiency.
That's great, Ajay. Great to know that energy efficiency is at the core of IoT with 5G. Also, another question on IoT. So, how do you see the IoT ecosystem evolving for, say, enterprises which are actually building their service and business models around 5G?
So I think how I see is like 5G is a consumer play as well as big enterprise play. What it is bringing totally different aspects for the enterprises, like bringing it a network slicing, QoS, which were not possible earlier, like to have a predictable private network. So that's a need,
Okay.
like to have the specifically smart factory use cases, like where like precise location, precise doing task on a precise time, and then better communication between different components. I think this will definitely open up a different use cases for enterprise. A lot of automation, automated industry will come in future.
Okay, that's good to know, Ajay. And how do you think this solution will be built and delivered? Like, who are all the different stakeholders for the solutions, and probably we can give some insights into how this entire ecosystem will evolve.
I think what I feel is like it's an ecosystem play. Like so, there are if you see solution perspective, like we need a connectivity provider, we need a cloud provider, we need sensors provider. There will be a device management applications, SIs. Like so, it's an ecosystem game. Telecom definitely going to play a big role in terms of connectivity. Not only that, like they might come up and play more roles like providing secure device management or even lead the solution like uh, to the end customer because telecom is already in providing services to the enterprise.
Yeah, correct. Uh, so, are there any other factors, Ajay, which make 5G more suitable for growing IoT?
What I feel, Monami, is like another factor which 5G is very popular is edge computing. Like so, bringing the workload at a edge and then bringing a lot of intelligence at the edge, like which is a very key factor for a lot of IoT use cases. Yeah, so this edge computing is going to really play a good role in some of the.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are going to have a very good and challenging time with 5G, and I am personally very excited on our journey on 5G and related applications as well.
Me too, Karthik. Like we have a lot of challenges, but exciting time.
We all are. We all are actually. And I wish we could talk on and on and on about such interesting topics. However, we really have to take a pause now. By the way, it was very nice talking with both of you, and hopefully we will have more such interesting discussions in future. So thank you so much, Kartik and Ajay.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, thank you, both of you.